In case you thought that Amber Heard was without any supporters, you are wrong. Apart from her sister and other family members, Amber has been publicly supported by Eve Barlow, who, according to inside sources, has been Amber's rock during the defamation trial against Johnny Depp. And Eve has been pretty vocal about her dislike towards Johnny and his legal team, particularly Camille Vasquez. She has called out Camille several times online and disrespected her more than once. And it looks like Camille has had enough because she is clapping back at all the hatred. So what did Camille say about Eve Barlow? Eve Barlow is a Scottish journalist who has worked as a deputy editor for NME magazine and has also been a contributor for New York Magazine. According to several sources, Amber and Eve became exceptionally close during the last few years and have been inseparable since. They have been spotted several times together, and many believe that they might be secretly dating. Eve is one of the rare public figures who has been very vocal about her support for Amber Heard. An insider revealed to London Mail newspaper, Eve has been a huge support to Amber during the trial. She is an open person and has spoken proudly about their relationship. She even attended the courtroom during the trial to support Amber. However, she was banned by Judge Penny to never attend any more court proceedings because she was caught tweeting and texting about the trial. Judge Penny said, "She was tweeting live from my courtroom, and I know the deputies took her out because she was texting. That's against the court order. Miss Barlow is not coming back into the courtroom during this trial." Eve also revealed that she has been on the receiving end of immense hate for supporting Amber Heard. She said ever since she started supporting Amber, she has been misgendered, called ugly, a lying gold digger, and has received countless death threats. And she has also been pretty vocal about her dislike for Camille Vasquez. Eve tweeted, "Camille Vasquez's approach to Amber Heard's cross-examination is classic Darvo, which stands for deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. What you say happened didn't happen. You are a liar. He didn't do it. You did." And she didn't stop there. During the trial, Eve was constantly tweeting about Camille and calling out her tactics. We all know how Camille completely obliterated Amber during her cross-examination and closing statements.
I have a significant amount of scar tissue in my nose.
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
Camille called out Amber's claims as a hoax and a master plan to frame Johnny and destroy his reputation completely. Camille also said that Amber put up a performance of her lifetime and did nothing but lie to court.
We told you that this would be a performance, the role of her lifetime, as a heroic survivor of brutal abuse.
Reacting to this, Eve slammed Camille at the time, tweeting, "Camille Vasquez is right about one thing. It is 6 years to the day today since Amber went to a courthouse in DTLA to get a TRO. And here she is 6 years later, still in a courthouse, trying to get away from him." Eve also slammed Camille when Camille said that Amber was mentally troubled and needed help. During the trial, a psychologist, Dr. Shannon Curry, testified that Amber suffered from borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder.
Right now, we know that there are people who have borderline personality disorder who have sustained childhood trauma. There are also people who have borderline personality disorder who have had no childhood trauma. So like most personality disorders, and really like most mental health issues in general, there seems to be both a biological component. In this case with borderline personality disorder, the research tends to support a genetic component and possibly a neurological component. And then there is also possibly an environmental component triggering those genetic markers. Women with borderline personality disorder tend to have a higher prevalence of being involved in intimate partner violence relationships, being the receiver of violence, and being the perpetuators of violence.
The psychologist also revealed that Amber lied about getting PTSD from her relationship because based on her analysis, Amber does not suffer post-traumatic stress from her relationship with Johnny Depp.
Ms. Heard did not have PTSD, and there were also pretty significant indications that she was grossly exaggerating symptoms of PTSD when asked about them.
And when Camille brought this up and said Amber is a troubled person who is desperate for approval and needed help.
One of those promises we made was that you would come to understand who Ms. Heard is, that she is a deeply troubled person, violently afraid of abandonment, desperate for attention and approval. And in her relationship with Mr. Depp, she was violent, she was and she was cruel.
Eve bashed Camille again on Twitter, saying, "Camille Vasquez should be ashamed as to how she's demonizing people with BPD while trying to misdiagnose Amber Heard with it. She also called out Camille again when Johnny settled outside the court for another assault against a member of one of his previous film crew. Given that Mr. Depp settled out of court this month in his case versus Rocky Brooks, and thus couldn't be found guilty of assaulting another man on a movie set, his lawyer Camille is now free to travel and stand side of stage at his European concerts. Eve made a very controversial tweet when she said that women who support Johnny Depp suffered from low self-esteem and were just jealous of Amberheard. She tweeted at the time, "It's easy for women with low self-esteem to hate Amber or justify their prejudice towards archetypal feminine strength beauty by denying their envy of it. They perceive an afforded power that's truly a myth and excuse their own inefficiency at being resilient against misogyny." She continued, "Amber had to fight for her life, despite her position and assumed privileges. She still wasn't afforded a savior. It's much easier to get behind a woman who plays the damsel in distress than it is to empathize with a woman who has had to liberate herself." You best believe internet users completely dragged Eve for making such a remark. One user responded, "Yes," turning to the case of, "You think she is prettier than you, so that's why you don't like her. Also, that is so women supporting women statement right there. No, it's because she has been caught in so many lies." Another person said, "Envy of her beauty? We certainly have a different perception on what beauty is. With that being said, I have no envy of her. I did not know who she was until this case. And from her televised performance, I see nothing to be envious about." Another user clapped back saying, "How insanely pretentious. Shoving in all the big words doesn't make you sound clever. It just makes you sound garbled. You're mad because you're jealous is literally the oldest line in the book. The truth, women see right through her. Particularly women who've actually been." Eve also called out fans who compare Amber to Harvey Weinstein, saying, "Comparing Amber to Harvey Weinstein. There's cowardice and then there's callousness. This feels vindictive, strategic, and extremely toxic." With Eve directing so much hate and disrespect towards Camille, fans have been standing up online in support of Camille. One user wrote, "Eve, aren't you tired, honey? Amber Turd isn't gonna sleep with you again. I'm guessing that one night stand convinced you that she wants you. Funny how she needed cosmetic makeup to fake bruises and steal stories from actual victims and shows to movies." Yet another person wrote, "Someone is jealous that Camille Vasquez was invited to Johnny Depp concert." As for Camille, she chooses to remain unbothered while enjoying her life as a member of Johnny Depp's inner circle. She was recently spotted attending Johnny's concert in Prague along with her boyfriend. So it's safe to say that Camille doesn't really care about what Eve has to say about her. But do you think Camille will ever directly respond to all the hate that Eve is throwing her way? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more celeb news just like this.